Eric, we should go somewhere where we can go kayaking. I've always wanted to go like not even kayaking, like rapiding, like White River Rapids,
Whitewater,
Chattanooga,
Whitewater Rapids. Like I think that would be super fucking fun. And it's like I feel like
you
it's
can go to the Grand Canyon. Do it at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Do something.
Ride a donkey down.
My mom did that forever ago. She
rode a donkey to the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
No, she floated the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon, and it was like
we should do that. We should go float. We should go. Like I'm sure we can get something like that.
Swear to God, if y'all float a river without me, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. That's all I've wanted to do for like the last 3 years. I enjoy.
This is gonna be like a helmet experience. We're gonna have life rafts and helmets and honestly, you were invited. We told you that if you lied about your grandpa dying, that you could have got bereavement, and you said no.
Like the free flights complaining about having to take a flight on a different day.
I'll put you in my luggage, bro. I'll check you, bro. I'll put you in the overhead compartment.
Yeah, I don't know how that even happened. Hey guys, what's up? We were talking for probably like 20 minutes, and then I realized I wasn't recording. So,
I'm Eric.
Kyle.
Drew. I win. Yeah.
For our niche gamer listeners, new Active Valorant just dropped. New agent. Let's go. Yeah. New meta. Listeners.
I honestly,
and another $100 that I've spent on this stupid game.
Very little, right, Eric? Not a whole lot. We all spend very little on this game.
Yeah, I probably spent like a total of like 50, maybe like
free to play games, super nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I bought like a bunch of other shit, so all the battle pass, bought like 4 skins in the thing, and then a collection. And
you bought 4 skins?
Yeah.
Wild.
That's something you would know a lot about, huh?
Facts. Pew, 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 pew. Hashtag give Nathan's dick a haircut.
Hashtag cut crew.
Cut crew?
Cut crew.
Hashtag oldest circumcision.
Speaking of gaming, I've been watching a little bit, not a whole lot, of Overwatch 2. Underwhelming.
It's literally the same character. Like, there's no major.
Yeah, what is the point? Courage is like, this is basically Overwatch 1.5, and it is.
It is.
Like, it's like one more game mode and a couple maps, right?
What was the point? The community has waited years for this. Plus, I mean, just because GTA gets away with it, I mean, they changed the city, so do something different.
I mean, I will say I've bought GTA 4 times probably now. I bought it on the PC, the PS3, the PS4, and maybe the Xbox 360.
I bought it on the PS4, and then I got it for free on the PC because Epic Games is running a thing.
I think I got it on. I think I got
Summer
it
sale
on 3
2 years ago.
But I don't have it on PC.
I think I got it on PS3.
Or I think I had it on my 360.
The game I've bought the most, the most amount of time, the same game that I've bought the most amount of times is definitely Skyrim.
I think I even had it
Black
about
Ops
3
6
times.
times.
I've only bought it twice, and I refuse to buy it anymore.
I bought it twice on PC.
But I think that's kind of like Mike. How? What?
I bought the original on PS3. I bought the deluxe version on PS4.
Oh, I do have it on.
And then I bought the deluxe version on PC.
Oh, I've played it on my PC, but it's on the Xbox Game Pass, so I don't count as paying for it.
Yeah, I bought it on PS3. I bought it on PS4 twice. I bought it on PC twice or 5 times. I bought it on my first PC, and I don't know where that fucking went.
The PC or the game?
The game. When I got my newest PC, I don't know what the fuck happened.
You got it on Steam? You should have filed something.
I don't remember. I think I got it on CD keys or something. I don't fucking know, man.
Whenever I buy it on CD keys, I make sure it's a Steam key.
Yeah.
I only buy CD keys if they're Steam keys.
CD's nuts.
I've been really tempted to buy Red Dead Redemption 2. my PC again, just because like I've been seeing TikToks on it lately.
If you find it
looks like a really fun
$15, I'll buy it and play it with you occasionally.
You can buy the multiplayer.
I have it on PS4, and I never played more than about an hour and a half of the story.
It's so fun. I really enjoyed it.
It was just too much, right?
Fun.
Like the first storyline. The first game was so much less, right? It was in the second one. It was too immersive for me because I don't have the time for that stuff. Like you would have to collect like beans and like cornstarch in order to make meals and just like crazy amount of like. It's super cool if I had like 60 hours a week of free time, right?
I think it was good for like super casual gamers who would just want to get lost in the world. I don't think it was
campaign players for sure.
Yeah, because like it was extremely realistic to like getting fatigued, you and your horse getting fatigued, and like there's no fast travel. I don't think there was fast travel.
There's fast travel.
Was there? I don't know.
I don't know. I played a lot of it, and I feel like I never dealt with like fatigue and shit. Like I don't remember that being like an active part of the game. Like I know that it is kind of a thing, but like it was rarely something that I gave a shit about because it genuinely did not affect much. Like
my biggest thing is the way that I game now is that it's hard for me to get on games that I can't pick up for an hour because a lot of times I'll get home from work and I'll game for like an hour, right? And so like even on Elden Ring when I got it, like it's been hard for me to get into it because it's hard for me to get home, get on it for like an hour and make any substantial progress. So it's like almost not even worth getting on for an hour. Like I almost got to book a 4-hour period, which I just can't do in order to do anything. Otherwise you just get on, you like walk from one point to another, you fight one dude and then you have to like get off and like then you forget everything you did and where you've been and what quest you're on and X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just like a game that's really fun to, I guess, like achievement hunting, where it's like, especially considering a lot of the achievements are like hunting related. Like it's a very fun world aside from like the campaign.
But like, even like
it took me forever to beat the campaign. I just fucked around in the world a bunch.
Yeah,
there's like I feel like there's few things you could do in an hour game session.
Well, no, usually if you have a hour game session, you would want to play like a multiplayer game, like Valorant.
Yeah, because you're gonna get more rounds in.
Well, so it's just not something with development, right? I'm not going toward like I don't know, like a progressive goal. I suppose
it's not contingent on missions.
Yeah.
Like I recently started playing the Hitman games for the first time, just because like I've never played them before,
and they're free on the Game Pass.
Yeah, they're free on the Game Pass. They're super fun. Like
I like super fun.
How many different combinations
so good.
of...
Are we going to get... sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to ask this real quick. Are we going to get Among Us on Oculus? Are we all down for that?
I'm down. Cool. I haven't used my Oculus in months.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me.
I tried to get Natalie to sell our second one to Tanner, and she wouldn't.
For what?
I just bought this game called... I bought this game called
I was
VR
trying
Skater.
to get that money back, and she was like, "No,
that's what I mean. Like, why would you not sell that? Because I know damn well, Natalie, you don't use that shit.
She's used it like 3 times. It is super cool. Like that.
Stop making that face you're making like you do make it, Natalie. You know you don't use it.
It's facts.
What are you saying, Nathan?
I was saying I got this game called VR Skater that's probably been like my favorite game that I've purchased for the Oculus. I mean, granted, I've only bought a couple, but it's been super fun. It's literally just kind of like Skate, or I guess like Tony Hawk or whatever. Like one hand is your front foot, one hand's your back foot. You're on a skateboard, you flick, do shit, you have to catch it. It's super lit.
Is it free? 15?
No, it was like $20.
That's not bad.
Or maybe 13. I don't know. It was pretty cheap. I think it was like 13 because I got it. Like I returned something and got it with my refund.
Yeah, I can't really like ever say I've returned more games than like when I started playing on my Oculus. They were just games
like 4.
Yeah, that I got into and I was like, I'm not gonna like this. I'm just gonna go ahead and chalk that.
So many of them are just like experiences rather than like a full game. Like I would love. I think there's a Hitman version of.
There is. It does not look fun. I'm just going to give you a heads up. I watched some people play it.
But yeah, like I would I would love something that's like a pretty like story driven game.
Yeah,
the Star Wars ones are pretty story
I feel like they do a lot of like they do.
The Medal of Honor game too looks pretty good.
That looks pretty good.
And Sinner and Saints Walking Dead looks good.
But I feel like they do a shit job.
I've been meaning to try The Walking Dead.
I feel like they do a shit job sometimes of like doing a video of what the game is supposed to be, like the trailer of the game. And so, like, I'll buy a game and I'm like, oh, that looks sick. And then I get in it and I'm like, this is fucking terrible. Return immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Gotta hit YouTube. I almost said hit the YouTube.
About to hit a U-turn. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, I always like end up spending like quite a bit of time like watching YouTube videos on the Oculus game before I buy it for that exact reason. Yeah. It's just like
the return process is super easy.
It is for sure, but it's just annoying. Especially considering like the battery is kind of like not great. I don't have like an extended battery or anything. Just got regular ass Oculus. But like it's like you download it, and if it's not like charging while you're downloading it, and then like you play it and you realize you don't like it that much, and it's like, well shit, now this thing's got like an hour left and I've got to like return this game and try to find something else.
If
you're like searching in the Oculus store. Yeah, I know, but like I'm already there, you know? Like
did y'all see that Glockulus TikTok I sent you?
Yeah.
That's just fire.
That looked lit.
I can't remember I think I put it in the group chat. I realized I've got like a dumbbell that's like maybe 1.5 feet long.
That's a foot and a half?
Yeah, probably. How big do you think 1.5 feet is, Kyle?
I mean, I can show you how big 1.5 feet is.
You gonna stand up?
I just gotta go get a roller real quick.
Technically, you need two.
I don't know. I like figured I can wrap the wrist guards on it, and it like functions pretty well for like a stabilizer. Because that's the hardest part of playing the shooting games for me is like the awkward like.
Just play Onward with me, guys. It's so fun. I would probably use my Oculus a lot more. It's so fun.
Every time video we never play together.
Yeah, but like every time I'm like, I could play a shooter on my Oculus.
I've recommended Shack several times because it's free.
Yeah,
but it's so much. It's like the best experience. The moment where I fell in love with that game was there's a map where it's like a big sandy dune city, and me and this dude, I don't know who he was, but he was a hell of a teammate. We split up. It's like a team of 5, so like 2 of us go over here, and he's just like, let's go hide out in this house, and then we'll just surveil before we go down this dune into this other house. And so while we're walking to the house, you know, we have bullets whizzing past our head and hitting the ground, and so we run. That's how you run. We run into the house, and like in real life, because it's VR, I'm like crouch and like hiding behind. It was a window, so I was like below the window and like peeking out and like blind firing, and it was just so immersive. And that's when I fell in love with it, especially after I killed the dude. Just like,
I honestly think I'm still traumatized after almost breaking my fucking finger playing a goddamn bowling game in VR and hitting the corner of my desk, trying to fucking bowl a 20-mile-an-hour strike, bro.
Bro, you have such a big house. No shot there's not a space where you can not hit your finger on something.
I mean,
you're so small, bro.
You actually have like an empty-ass room, don't you?
You're breaking my heart, bro.
First of all, you're gaslighting me. My house is not that big. And second of all, I play in my
That's
office.
Crazy because we all go over and can stay the night.
Yeah, your house is the only house that can accommodate all of us.
2 spare bedrooms.
Technically, has 3
bedrooms. So
yeah, I mean, like sleepable ones.
I play here in my office. In the third. And I thought I had enough space. I thought I was standing like right in the middle of the room. Joke's on me. And so I moved my chair out of the way because I was like, it's just there. It's in the way. Like I'm touching it. I'm just gonna move it. I'm standing there, like ripping it, bro. I was using a football. It was some like cross sport game. So they gave me a football, and I'm throwing this football to bowl a strike, and literally almost broke the goddamn controller.
We were just talking about the football bowling game.
It's a lot of fun.
You know, it'd be really cool because I was just like, our house or at least where when we're playing
in
like
the middle of
the our little Oculus space is we've this awkwardly large area in front of our living room that is like a pretty good VR area.
Living room?
Yeah, it's weird. But it's a pretty good, probably like 6x6 square, like of just empty space that we're like, whatever, that's where we VR. But like usually me and Drew don't do it at the same time. But I was just thinking it'd be cool if there was a way to like link our Oculuses together to where like we could both use like that area and it not like fuck up. You know how like when we went to a Sandbox and it like recognized that multiple headsets were in like one.
That's lit.
But I guess there's like external tracking required for that shit. Or at least for one of them.
Whenever me and Natalie do it in our living room, we just draw our like when you draw your square, you see the room, right? Yeah. So we just make sure that
that's
our
what
lines.
We have used it at the same time
for sure. Yeah, we just don't do it often. I was just saying it would be cool, like instead of cutting it in half, we could just make it a whole thing and it recognize.
Like you're getting too close.
Hard clotion. Yeah.
Like those VR places.
Yeah. I also wish you could use the VR outside. If you could use it outside, I think it's 100% worth the money. No, the cameras are too sensitive.
You'll burn out like you can, but it'll fuck the cameras up eventually.
But you can
I don't know if you'd be able to like.
What if it was like an overcast day?
Maybe
if you have a gazebo.
I think it might be the UV rays. It might be the UV rays that are harmful for. But I guess overcast wouldn't matter. But I wonder if like I don't know if anybody's tried it. It's like so obvious that I'm sure it has and doesn't work. But you could get like a giant sunglasses to put over it.
Get some tint with the camera.
I also feel like we always game at night, right?
Well, you need light
on the weekends.
Not for the.
Yeah, so I'm saying like, if you had like a strong enough backyard light, you might be able to do it at nighttime.
Does it?
I got that light from Home Depot. That motherfucker's like 300 watts.
One of the things that I was thinking about was if and when I get a gym membership, especially if it's like a 24-hour one, just like, you know how they have like those big rooms for like group activities, like group workouts, just go in there and then just VR it up.
I don't know if they'll let you do that.
Huh?
It's like storage. No. It's like a one-car garage.
For like other people.
No, it's a one-car garage, so Kyle, other people use our house for
I didn't know if the guy was like, hey, y'all can rent this house, but it's contingent on the fact that the garage is actually my space.
No, it's not a Craigslist. We didn't find it on Craigslist. No.
I mean, in this economy.
And also, why wouldn't they let me use it? You know,
there was a guy that just sold his house,
and his main basement
for like a grip, like $900,000 or something like that, and it was contingent on like the basement being inhabited by a family, like a mother and a daughter, or a mother, husband, and a daughter, and he was like, you can't kick them out. Like, this is your whatchamacallit, and someone gave him over his asking price for his house.
That's crazy.
Like he bought the house without the basement,
right?
Yeah,
essentially.
Like, what the fuck is?
Which like it's I could see that if he's renting it. Like,
no,
that's not wild. I know that. I know.
So like, what happens?
Like if he's renting it, that's not wild. It's like all right, whatever. It's like a duplex. Almost.
I just want to know, like,
do parts.
If that mother and daughter duo, right? Like if they're like, we're done here. We found a better place for living. You know, whatever. Do they list that for sale?
No, so what I think happened was I don't think the story was like a TikTok story, right? So obviously we don't have the details, but what I bet happened is the owners of the home had a tenant who had a lease agreement for X amount of time, whatever renews as long as you meet these requirements, right? And they just built that into the mortgage, right? So I bet the people who bought the house now get the money that she pays in rent on her lease agreement, right? But they can't kick her out. They can't cancel the rent agreement.
Right.
But I mean, I think that was in the Northeast too, right? So
yeah,
a lot of people do that. I know my buddy Aaron, him and his wife now lived in someone's basement for a while. And I mean, it was nice. Like it was a completely separate part of the house. Like I mean,
their own entrances,
their own entrance, kitchen, like full kitchen. I think 1 or 2 bathrooms. It might have been one, but I think it might have been like 1.5. But I mean, it was like a whole different house downstairs, which is so crazy to me.
Yeah, my bedroom was in the basement growing up, and it was like having my own apartment. It was super sick. Like a lot of my friends had basements as well, and so it was like they were all like to varying degree like that. Where like some of them, like my parents' basement's like pretty bare bones. It's just like my bedroom,
Did you
like
grow
a
up
living
here?
room or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so weird.
Like you've been to that house. You've probably been.
It's just
in
weird
that
like you say a lot of your friends they had basements.
Yeah, like most of the houses in that neighborhood have basements.
That's so wild.
That's like to me, it was always crazy when like to get that response from people, just because like I grew up around so many basements. When people are like, "You have basements? That's weird as fuck." And it's like, you don't.
Yeah. Ugh. You don't really find too many people with basements.
Well, it's because they're unsafe in Texas.
Because
the tectonics of the ground, like.
And the fracking.
Like we have like more foundation issues than a lot of other states because like the foundation without going another 12 feet down is already having trouble staying together. So, you surround that area below, right? You run a risk of like your whole house collapsing down into the basement. Because I mean, I don't know
we've literally gutted that house. Like there was like at some point when I was in like second grade, that house got black mold, and the insurance instead of I don't know why we didn't move, but because like we ended up staying in a hotel for 10 months, but the insurance paid to like gut that entire house. Like there was a point where like we could stand where I was like standing in the basement looking up like at the roof. It was wild.
But gutting is even different because like you hear things like strong bones, right? Like. A lot of shit could happen to my house here, and you could fuck with a lot of shit, and the house would still be good, right? You could still fix a lot of it, right? But if the foundation fucks up, like that's concrete. Like you can't just unpour the concrete and then pour new concrete, like because it's got to be a single piece, and there's compression on the bars.
Like, fixed foundations, like concrete foundations. It's like a pretty interesting process.
Yeah,
they put stilts under them.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
But you got to think that's just the solid slab. If it's a square, right? Because you got to think the foundation of the basement is the floor and then 4 walls, right?
Right.
If the shifting starts to happen and the walls start cracking, you run the real risk of it collapsing inward, right? And if that happens, the whole house is going to collapse down, which is why it's
wouldn't
riskier
happen
here.
if it was a circle.
There's got to be something
more
that
structurally
they do, right?
sound.
Like I'm thinking of how they do that because obviously they pour. Do they pour a foundation? Like do they pour?
It's all concrete down there.
Like, it's concrete on our 4 walls, all 4 walls.
I'm thinking that if they would have poured concrete like on the top layer of the basement, like as the basement roof.
Well, the floor would be a floor, not a wall.
Yeah.
By definition. But I think the only way you could really do it is like metal beam style, right?
Long dick style.
Which is how they build tornado shelters, right? Like a lot of people have like shelters like in their backyard or even under their house, but a lot of times those are all steel beams.
That was definitely like always our like that was at a certain point. When I was a kid, I was terrified of like tornadoes and shit. So I would freak out for the longest time when like the tornado siren went off because like I feel like growing up in Texas, that happens. Like tornadoes are pretty common thing. Like there's literally at some point in time a tornado literally did come rip through my neighborhood. Like I was outside like 5 minutes at max. Ayo. I was outside like 5 minutes max, like before it happened, like looking up at the sky, and my neighbor was like, "You should probably go inside." I was like, "Yeah, okay." So like went to my basement and then watched the tornado fuck the neighborhood up. But like when I was a kid, it freaked me out.
And you did nothing? Wow, what a coward!
What a coward, bro.
But once like I got over that fear, it was always like pretty chill. Like I would have friends that'd be like, "Fuck tornado sirens!" Like they're freaking out. And I'd be like laying in my room playing Xbox, be like, "Oh, sucks, guys."
I don't think we ever did anything crazy. I think we just like
we would go watch like the tornadoes touch down.
I mean that's a very southern thing for sure.
We would go like I remember we lived off of like Bowen and like Pioneer, Bowen in California, but in Arlington. So I remember there's like a Cracker Barrel on 20 in Bowen, and I remember once like tornadoes are going off, whatever's crazy. and we just drove down a Cracker Barrel and sat in the parking lot and watched like fucking 4 tornadoes just fucking.
Yeah, we don't leave our house, but we'll like open the garage door.
I'd be standing out from there. Tornadoes be going out like crazy up here in Carrollton. I'll walk out front. Emily's freaking out, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so scared." I'm like, "All right, well, I'll be outside looking at the sky, just doing texting things, I guess." That.
I used to be pretty terrified of tornadoes as well growing up, and they still kind of give me anxiety, but...
You scared of the ocean?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It is too vast, and we know too little about it.
Know this story? I'm pretty sure I've told this story. Maybe not. I don't think I did, because it's embarrassing.
I'm from the sea.
I went to Hawaii in June, and... we booked like a turtle, like a turtle dive or whatever, where you go out you're like, I don't know, probably half a mile from the shore, and it's like multiple boats, and you go and you dive and you swim with the turtles and all this shit. And there's like probably close to like 100, 150 people out there at that time, because there was like 3 or 4 boats, catamarans or whatever, and so like we're chilling. We get to our spot, they drop anchor or whatever the fuck they do to stay in one place. And we're kicking it. So we get off the boat and we're like swimming or whatever, and it's choppy as fuck. And I have zero expectations of what this process is like. Really, the only expectation that I had was like in the beginning of our relationship, Emily was in Key West and she was like swimming with dolphins, and she was like floating in the still ass ocean, drinking a bottle of champagne and just kicking it. So like that was the expectation I had in my mind. Psych.
The sea be unforgiving, son.
The sea be hella unforgiving. I almost fucking drowned, bro.
The sea taketh.
I'm literally like trying to see these fucking turtles, and I'm having a hard time like mouth breathing because snorkel.
Underwater. It's rough for sure.
Yeah, I'm literally swallowing more water than oxygen at this point, and I'm choking. And the like lifeguard of the boat had to come fucking save me. And she paddled me to the boat, and I got on, and I was like, I'm fucking done, bro. Give me a beer. You have a beer? He's like, I got a beer. And I was like, sick. And that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like the official term, but does anybody get hit with like an underswell before? That's the scariest shit I've ever experienced.
Undertow?
Maybe. I don't know. It's where like, you know how waves, the water is pushing toward the shore? Some of them, like, they develop a current that flows opposite, right? Underneath, right? And so it'll like grab you by the feet, pull you under, and drag you out super fucking quick, super far. And that happened to me once. Like I don't know where it was. I don't know if it was like South Padre or like Galveston. It was somewhere in the Gulf, right? And we were swimming, and like you're just doing the thing, like you're doing the thing. This is like the standard thing you do when you get just a little bit too far. You're just like, but you're doing real slow, right? You're just like.
For those of you listening, Kyle's doing like
bouncing, like a small jump, and like your head goes up with the wave, and then you come back down, and your feet touch, and you're good, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm just doing that, right? And I guess I'm moving like left and right because it's kind of like hard to tell orientation, right? You're just kind of moving with the flow, right? And like something just happens where like I guess we went up. And then something like it feels like something grabs you by the ankle and just like pulls you. So you're like, it's almost like you fall forward and it just pulls you out. And you pop up and you're way farther out than you were.
I think you had an experience with that shit's
scary as shit.
In fact,
that's how the turtles get around in Finding Nemo.
Absolutely not. I remember
that shit's wild though.
Ocean City like 4 years ago, and we like Emily was on the beach, and I was kayaking with Aaron, the guy who lives in the basement, and he passes out. He just takes like a nice nap, and I'm just like caught up in the listening to music on my phone and like Snapchatting the views and whatnot. And we drift down the beach like 1.5 miles. That was the longest fucking paddle back, and it was just we're paddling like against the current at this point. My arms,
that's the worst.
Feet, bro. It took us like probably 90 minutes to get back.
Side note,
so long.
Eric, we should go somewhere where we can go kayaking. I've always wanted to go like like not even kayaking, like rapiding, like White River Rapids,
Whitewater,
Chattanooga, Tennessee,
Whitewater Rapids. Like I think
Arizona.
that would be super fucking fun. And it's like I feel like
you can go to the Grand Canyon. Do it at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Do something.
Ride a donkey down.
My mom did that forever ago. She
rode a donkey to the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
No, she floated the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon, and it was like
we should do that. We should go float. We should go. Like I'm sure we can get something like that. For
Swear to God, if y'all float a river without me, I'm gonna be so fucking
we're not
mad.
gonna do the
That's all I've wanted to do for like the last 3 years. I enjoy
this is gonna
getting
be like
drunk
a
on a
helmet
river.
experience. We're gonna have a life rafts and helmets and honestly, you were invited.
Whatever.
We told you that if you lied about your grandpa dying, that you could have got bereavement. And you
not
said no.
Like the free flights complaining about having to take a flight on a different day.
I'll put you in my luggage, bro. I'll check you, bro. I'll put you in the overhead compartment.
I don't think I really have had any real bad experience with like the ocean. I don't fuck with the ocean really. Like I've been in it plenty of times, but like luckily enough, I don't think I've had any like terrible experience. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm fascinated by the ocean as a concept, but like
called thalassophobia.
Have you been on a cruise, Nathan, or slash?
I've always wanted to.
I've never been on a cruise.
Being on a cruise and going out onto the deck at night. Mind-boggling.
Oh yeah, so it's got
I used to get cool snaps from boats in the middle of the ocean of like the sky and shit. That was always pretty fascinating.
Not to rewind, but we were talking about that turtle dive earlier, and all I could think about was Nathan's dick, just like the way the head of a turtle pops out.
No shot.
One of the first times I ever lost my shit. You guys know what I say when I mean lose my shit. There are times from time to time when I hear something.
People.
I'm trying.
Oh.
From time to time when it doesn't even have to be something that's super funny, but when something hits my funny bone or my funny drum in my ear just right. I know. Well, I mean, funny bone's wherever I want it to be, Kyle. It doesn't exist.
I mean,
never mind. It does exist. Yeah,
I think it's this one. Right?
You're funny. I forgot. I was thinking of it more as like the not a literal sense. Anyways, when I hear something that makes me laugh really hard, it gets real high pitched, and I cry, and it's a whole thing.
It's like a wheeze.
Yeah, it's a thing. Anyways, the first time that like I ever lost my shit, I was watching Seinfeld, and it was the episode where Jerry's girlfriend sees George's dick after he was in the pool, and then like she ends up telling George's girlfriend or his date that they're at this beach house with, and then he's got a small dick, and then she leaves. And so when he's like freaking out about like, why would you do that? And they're like, it's small. And he was like, I was in the pool. And Elaine is like, it shrinks. And he says, like a frightened turtle. And that was the first thing that ever made me lose my shit. Because I was just like, it does shrink like a frightened turtle. That's so relatable. I was like 9, maybe.
Yeah.
This is be crazy.
Oh.
This is a learning episode.
They do.
I have some off podcast questions about that. Ask me to bring
about
up
his dick. I
Just
feel like that's
bring that
perfect
back
content.
up.
We should just talk about it.
Have any of you guys ever flown over a body of water?
Eric, how many Horcruxes are there?
8.
Name them.
Diadem, the ring, the goblet. Okay. You got Harry. You got Tom Riddle's diary. You got the necklace. You got Nagini, and you got Voldemort himself.
Voldemort himself is not a Horcrux.
He is technically a Horcrux.
No, what is the definition of a Horcrux?
Split soul. A split piece of his soul.
It's a piece of your soul that you remove from your body and put into something else. So the 8th piece of his soul
technically
that is still in his body does not make him a Horcrux.
Joke's on you.
That's not true, because his body is not a body. It's like an animus at the best.
Yeah.
Or like...
it's not his body. No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
What do you mean by his?
No, his body
The
is
body
dead.
you're in.
It's not his body. It's not his earthly body. It's a completely new body. You think he was born looking like a fucking snake, Kyle?
He is
Absolutely
not a
not.
Horcrux.
He was born with slits for nostrils? No.
There are 7. He has 8 pieces of his soul, but only 7 of them are in Horcruxes.
Okay, so what's the 8th Horcrux?
There is no 8th Horcrux. There's
so
7 Horcruxes, and then there's Voldemort's original, the remaining part of his original soul that's in his body.
Is this like a fan theory? And like, are you just? We all know J.K. Rowling sucks at writing. Is this just
Natalie
a plot
lost
hole?
to the trivia today, and
8. There were 8, according to HarryPotter.fandom.com.
Not according to this trivia.
Yeah, I was just saying. If anything, I feel like.
But I agree. I disagree with it because the definition of a Horcrux is.
So you're just you're just saying that it's a plot hole. We know she sucks. There's lots of plot holes.
Okay, I feel like you're just trying to badmouth J.K. Rowling right now. This is not what we're talking about, Nathan.
She is a transphobe, so.
No, what I'm saying though is like you're just saying like I don't consider it 8, but you just don't consider it 8 because she wrote that Horcrux poorly, like the definition of it, or I guess you.
No, it's
don't
not
like
poorly.
the way
The
that
definition of a Horcrux is when you split your soul into another object other than your body. In order
it must be poorly if she thinks it's 8 and you think it's 7.
I don't care what she thinks. By the definition of the word, he cannot be a Horcrux.
I mean, she can make him whatever she wants to be.
He is not him.
She is him in that universe, you know?
Speaking of universes, I don't know. I didn't even know where I was going to go with that, honestly.
I'm super bummed that I had to work from the office today because I didn't get the chance to watch Moon Knight.
Good.
So good.
I've seen so many Facebook posts about it being super good, and it got like a 9 on a 10 scale IGN maybe, I don't know. But I've seen a lot about it being really good. Thankfully, I haven't seen any spoilers yet, so
it's not a spoiler, but it's long. Like it feels long.
I'll be watching.
I got something else that feels long.
I'd say this is the first Disney show that like has a long runtime that actually feels like that length of the runtime.
Is it
like,
longer than an hour? Is this the season finale?
No, it's 6 episodes.
6 episodes, but each episode's like 53 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not longer than the normal episode time, right?
No,
I'm actually
each
curious
episode
how
is 53
Oh.
long
minutes.
Okay.
Kenobi's going to be runtime wise.
Comes on the 25th.
You should look up runtime and episode span because they're doing a lot of 6s, and that shit pisses me the fuck
Everything
off.
is
6
that's
episodes.
why.
They didn't
almost
start at 6 though, right? The first couple were 8.
So I will say 6 works with Moon Knight because they're basically almost an hour long each.
What was the first one, Wanda?
Yeah, everything has been 6.
Wanda was 8.
No,
Wanda was 8.
They started with.
I think Loki was 8 too. But Kenobi is supposedly 6 episodes long, and each episode will be about 45 minutes. So really 30 minutes with those long ass credits that they have.
Credits are so fucking lengthy.
Yeah.
That's like one thing I appreciate about Moon Knight, because their credits are lengthy, but they're like 4 or 5 minutes, I think. Right?
What?
Moon Knight? No, Moon Knight's credits are long as fuck.
Are they? Longer than 4 or 5 minutes?
Yeah, but they're filled with like Easter eggs. The moon.
I literally don't ever watch the credits. The moon is literally
going through
like
phases of the.
I just skim through to see if there's a post-credit scene. I don't really ever watch the credits.
I watched a couple of them, but
most of the time it's just to like so you can hear the theme song.
I don't know if you count What If, but What If was 9. Wanda was 9. What If was 9. Falcon was 6. Loki was 6.
And
Hawkeye was 6.
What a snorefest.
Loki, for the longest time, Loki was my favorite, but I think at this point, Moon Knight has become my favorite. Moon Knight is
super good. It's written really well, and the acting is really good too.
It's almost different though, because like Loki being part of Phase 4 is very Phase 4, but Moon Knight is more like Eternals. Like it's part of Phase 4, but it really does there's subtle hints, but like in Eternals, I don't think there's been any in Moon Knight yet, right?
I would say, but overall, like Moon Knight just has more depth.
But it's not. It doesn't feel like a Phase 4 the same way that like WandaVision, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that Loki does feel like a Phase 4.
It doesn't necessarily feel like it's connected to that universe.
Like it's part of Phase 4, but it doesn't feel like a Marvel Phase 4. It feels more like a standalone, because even Eternals had subtle nods, and I feel like Moon Knight hasn't even mentioned one single thing connected to the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
I've been waiting to see somebody or hear like a mention of something. Like I don't.
There's got to be one, right?
Any means, but yeah, like I'm sure it's some. Yeah, like I think. I don't know. I think all of the series are going to have like some form of play. I mean, they're definitely going to all matter in the movies, but like I feel like a lot of the series are going to matter with Multiverse of Madness.
How do you guys feel about the shows almost being crucial to the cinematic universe?
I would say that yes, they are for everything except Moon Knight so far. So unless they're going to reference Moon Knight in Multiverse of Madness,
I don't know. I think at one point they're going to pan out to the desert and the sun's going to be Miss Minutes. So
I don't know if we've talked about it on here or not before, but I think like Disney has like the perfect, or they have the opportunity to have like the perfect long form comics formula. They could use the series for just like your regular issues, and then the movies could be like the conclusions to the issues, or the movies could be like the special issues. Like I would really like it if the series tied into because there's no way that they wouldn't. Like it would like that's the whole point of Disney doing this, like of buying like the other, what was it, Agent Carter and shit, like the possibly adding her and shit. Like they're all trying to build this massive fucking universe that's all interconnected. So I would think that this isn't like but it's the multiverse, so maybe they could all be random.
I agree with you, but I think we both have that mindset just because we've already, for the past 11 years or 12 years or whatever, have been putting in the work to know everything. Like, Clarissa really wants to see Multiverse of Madness. I'm like, you need to watch WandaVision. And she's just like, I know, I will. I'm like, no, you need to watch WandaVision to understand why we're here at this point. I know you've seen Spider-Man, so you'll understand Doctor Strange's side, but Wanda's in a completely different place than she was at the end of Endgame. So
yeah,
right.
You need to watch it. And it just seems like it's homework. It's homework for the casual viewers.
That's fair.
Who just go to Marvel movies because
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, because like it does, like it literally cuts their market in half if that's the only way that they want it to work. So I'm sure they will do it in some sort of way to where it's like maybe the series aren't crucial. You maybe still can kind of grasp what's going on. There's just maybe some things that you'll understand more if you see the series.
I mean, Star Wars does that as well. Like, there's a lot of things that are Star Wars that are fan appreciation, not fan appreciation, like fan servicing, that if you watched all the TV series, you get a lot more out of it, but it doesn't necessarily take away from the storyline.
Yeah, well, I feel like the difference between Marvel and Star Wars, the movies are their own thing, and you can just watch the movies.
Yeah.
You don't need to watch Clone Wars to appreciate Episode 3. It makes it better, but you don't need to watch Clone Wars in order to appreciate Episode 3. Where it's like, I think you need to watch WandaVision to appreciate Multiverse of Madness.
Also, I feel like I feel like you need to watch WandaVision and What If.
In a way, yeah.
Because I mean,
I don't necessarily think you need to watch What If, but it would do a lot of explaining. You wouldn't be. I don't think you'll be.
I don't think you would be lost
per se, but you'll have more knowledge, obviously, going into it, and you'll understand more on what is happening and why it's happening, rather than like just going along with the story.
Well, not even just the multiverse part, but like, I mean, if you're talking about being lost, like if we're,
I'm talking about like Doctor Strange and
strictly the Doctor Strange. Like, you're not gonna, if you don't watch the Doctor Strange episode of What If, you're not gonna understand how he got the third eye and the multi arms. Like, I don't think they're gonna go back into that in Multiverse of Madness and redevelop how he became the Dark Doctor Strange.
I think they definitely will.
I don't think they will.
I think they'll do it in a throwaway line. Because I feel like what they'll do because like Wanda is going to be looking for her kids in Multiverse of Madness, and somebody who hasn't watched WandaVision is going to be like, "I'm sorry, what? You have kids?" And like they'll probably do a throwaway line like, "Yeah, I held a town captive for a month."
No, I don't even think that's. I think that's like a why. Like she's a pariah right now. Like she's in hiding. Like in the trailer when he sees her, he's like, "I'm not here about Westview." Like she's like, "I knew you would come." Like almost as if she's kind of like, almost like he's like a bounty hunter coming to like arrest her. Like she's on the run and she thinks somebody's gonna come and fuck her up. And he's like, "No, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here because Peter, or I guess not. He doesn't because Spider-Man fucked some shit up, and now I need your help." Like. You get a pass from him, but not from the rest of the world.
She's like, "You mean Peter Parker?" He's like, "What?"
Yeah. But to your point, Kyle, I definitely think that like at some point, when he becomes the Third Eye, like I think that if there's multiple versions of Doctor Strange, there's definitely going to be a Doctor Strange that's like, that's the fucking blah, blah, whatever the fuck it is.
No, but what I'm saying is like
supreme.
They're not going to do an in-depth, detailed description on why,
like,
and how.
No, they won't. When he do an in-depth detail, but they'll tell you who he is.
Yeah, but like that's not going to mean anything unless you've seen that episode.
Yeah, you're not going to know why he is.
Right? You're not going to know what happened or what he went through to get the extra eye. You're not going to know he's like absorbing the souls of.
Did he come to bargain? Who knows?
I guess it's like as a casual fan, but I don't think a casual fan is gonna like. And if the casual fan does care enough, then that's views for Disney Plus.
Let me give you the perfect example. The perfect example because Love and Thunder trailer just dropped, and when Natalie Portman dropped in her outfit, I got no satisfaction from that because I don't know who that is.
Have you not watched any of the Thor movies? She's the main, like one of the main characters in the first two.
Yeah, I know who. Like I don't know what the outfit is. Nathan, I know who Natalie Portman is.
You did okay.
I didn't know that she became whatever that outfit is.
Thor.
We need to realize.
No, not Thor. She wears an outfit. Like
he's talking about her getting the power of Thor, Nathan. That's what he's talking about. Her wielding Mjolnir.
I know. That's what I just said. Thor.
Okay, but she's not Thor. She doesn't have her own name. You call her Thor whenever she gets it. She becomes Thor.
She's Thor. Yes, Kyle. She's Thor.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. That's what I'm telling you.
What about Trogdor?
But that's what I'm trying to say is that we are returning back to where we were in Phase 1 when only comic book nerds knew what was going on and what was being referenced. Like I didn't know what Shield was really whenever Iron Man dropped. That's when I started getting into like comic books and stuff. But my dad was like, "Oh shit, Nick Fury and Shield," and I was like, Samuel L. Jackson, fucking Mace Windu.
Get real tired of all these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Facts.
But we're getting back to that point, and I think people are so drunk on how good Phase 3 was, where it's just like, oh, we should know everything that's going on, and it's like, no, we're entering a whole new world.
I'm drunk on like the fact that it's, in my mind at least, it's going the way that I've been like in my headcanon, that it's going the same way that my headcanon thinks that it's been going. So I'm just like, it's satisfying for me to watch this unplay. Because like I have for years been saying this is like the whole MCU is going to lead at some point, whether it's going to be the culmination or if it's just leading up to it, but they're going to lead, it's going to be Secret Wars and they're going to do Battle Earth. And
they should end it there.
The whole thing. Yeah, and I think that would be a great place to end it because, like, that is. I mean, in the comics, it's a massive story, so I'm very excited to see how they're going to translate it and make it a smaller subcontract.
I think they should have ended it technically with Thanos, but if they
Spider-Man
do end up doing Secret Wars,
there'll be a Phase 5. Mark my words.
There'll be a Phase 6. Mark my fucking words.
There'll be another 2 phases. It's going to be a repeater again. As I'm agree with Nathan, it's probably going to be ending with Secret Wars, and I honestly think they should end it there.
But they won't. They're going to drop the sequels, and everybody, including Drew, is going to hate them.
I agree because you have to think about how much money that makes.
Yeah, like they're just gonna. I think after that point, they're just gonna reboot the whole universe.
I don't think so.
Just how like DC does the New 52. There's the multiverse is a real thing in the comics. There's plenty of different universes that have very long storylines that you can do series off of. The Young Avengers, a ton of different shit that's different multiverses. It's like that. They have left it very open-ended for themselves, but I agree with Drew. They should end it. But I also agree with Kyle. Probably won't, because capitalism, baby.
Thanks. I mean,
cash cow.
Some fucking.
Well, it's not like they're doing a bad job. As long as they continue doing
100%. Yeah, they're definitely doing a great job, but it's all about the money.
They're doing a great job compared to the only other one that's just doing a terrible job. And that's DC. Like, DC does a good job. I did really like some of their TV shows, but their movies, comparatively,
their animated movies are undefeated.
Top tier.
Bro.
Top tier.
Marvel could fucking literally.
It's so confusing. Yeah, it's so confusing. Like,
and it's
Disney,
the most
that's your thing.
Disappointing thing ever.
Yeah,
because that shit is S tier, and they don't fucking miss. In the heat of the moment, they don't miss, bro.
They don't.
When it comes to animated shit.
Yeah,
but. Live action, trash. Throw it all the fuck away.
Their whole live action has literally just been Ezra Miller's Hawaii. Just assault after assault after assault. Facts. But we are being assaulted.
They're throwing chairs literally at my forehead.
Facts.
I don't know.
I like some of them.
I like a lot of them.
No, I don't think they're shit. Great. I'm just saying, literally compared to we were just talking about.
You're going backwards, though. You're saying that Marvel's only good because DC's shit. What I'm saying is DC's only shit because Marvel is a tier above everything else. I think every single Marvel production can hold its own on comparison to outside the superhero universes.
Yeah, right? But you got to think of it like this as well. Like, even if Marvel didn't exist, I would still think the job that DC has done in the past 8 years to tie everything in or attempt to, dog shit. They are terrible at doing
But that's so you can't just say that Marvel created that.
I understand that.
The universe.
I mean, Marvel set the standard
for what the 50 different titles, I guess, like series, movies that all tie together perfectly. Marvel created that.
I understand.
That's a ground up thing, right? So when you say that they did a terrible job tying everything together.
No, listen, I was talking to Nathan about it on the way, I think, to Batman, was the reason why we all have that opinion about DC is because Marvel started it, created a standard, and has continuously bumped up that standard. So if Marvel never existed, Man of Steel came out, Batman v Superman came out, and then Justice League came out, we would probably think, oh, this is the shit. Like, this is fucking awesome. Batman,
I agree 100%.
Like, we have those phases before them. We were in the middle of phase 3. We had fucking 15, 20 movies, maybe a little bit less, but we had those movies to compare those movies to, and it's just.
But on the other side of the coin, if Marvel didn't exist, the first Suicide Squad still would have been like a whatever. I don't. But
you take it out. You take it out. So
Incredible Hulk was in whatever movie.
Facts.
They just don't do it as good. But if you take Marvel out of the equation, even the connection between the second Suicide Squad and Peacemaker was a lot of really good fan service that you just can't appreciate because it's not as good as Marvel.
I can appreciate
in the whole
that.
universe.
Even if it's not as good as Marvel, I can appreciate that. I appreciate.
But that's what I'm saying.
But they're doing better, kind of. They're attempting to do better. They're hitting some markers now, right?
My biggest problem with DC right now is they're afraid to commit. They will not commit to a singular core universe that they build off of. They keep resetting over and over and over again.
How many Batman movies do you have in the past decade?
How many Jokers have we had? In the last 10 years, we've had 4
in our lifetime.
Get the fuck out of here. You can't have 4 Jokers if you're going to build on a core storyline. They're making the mistake that X-Men made. And Fantastic Four, they keep resetting. You got to stop resetting. Yeah. Start somewhere and just go. Looking back, if you look at the first 5 Marvel movies, it's like a 50-50 hit or miss. Like Iron Man 2 was okay, Iron Man 3 was fucking shit. Fucking the second Thor was ass. Like they stuck with it. They stuck with it, and they continued onward, and they built on the same core, and everything was part of that universe, and it was canon, right? And DC will not do that.
Yeah.
So where did you start liking in the phases? What phase did you start? Do you think their movie started getting good?
I liked it all the way around, and in retrospect, the fact that everything from Infinity War and Endgame ties back to even the second Thor and connects, it makes the entire storyline better, even though some of the movies sucked, because it's all linear, right? It's all one story.
I would love to answer that question. I was just going to answer Nathan because this is a hill that I constantly fight on, and saying that the first 2 phases were not that great. I will say, obviously, everybody loves Iron Man. Iron Man still holds up to this day.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking the Incredible Hulk was whatever. Iron Man 2, I was underwhelmed with. Wasn't a huge fan of the first Thor. Definitely was not a fan of the first Captain America. And hot take, I really thought the first Avengers movie was a meh. That's my personal opinion. But when I saw it in the theaters, I think I was just expecting more. Like, there were some parts that I thought were really cool. But honestly, the best part, in my opinion, in the Avengers, the first one, was when the big 3 meet each other in the forest and they fight each other. Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man.
Yeah,
that scene was sick. Yeah, that scene was sick.
See, I feel...
But let me just talk about Phase 2, because there's only 2 good things in Phase 2, which is Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Winter Soldier is arguably the best movie in the first 4 phases. I agree.
Nathan does not like it, but it's Nathan. So out of 12 movies, I think only 3 in the first 2 phases are worth a shit. And then you have banger after banger after banger after banger after banger in Phase 3. You got Civil War, Doctor Strange, Homecoming, Ragnarok, Black Panther, Infinity War, Endgame.
But tell me you don't get a little bit biased when we're this deep into it, because, right, while you might not have liked Infinity War, the build out they do on that time frame of this overall timeline, and even things like Hawkeye, where like her apartment got destroyed, and we're continually looking back and making connections, and everything is tying perfectly, makes it that much better. When things like Hawkeye rewind to the Battle of New York and connect and build off of it in a branch storyline, is something that DC just can't even do, because there's so many alternate universes already.
They can't even think about doing
right?
That shit.
Like, and Marvel Marvel got very close to even falling on this path, because they had 2 different Hulks. They had the Edward Norton Hulk, and then they immediately switched it, right?
Yeah, it was because Edward Norton wanted Robert Downey Jr. money.
Yeah, I mean, like there's been 3 Hulks total, but only 2 MCU Hulks.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, they could have easily fallen down the same path.
Lou,
for sure.
Lou Gehrig.
No,
Gehrig
is
Lou Gehrig is
Lou
Ferrigno. Lou Gehrig is a.
But also, like, how many movies have Marvel put out in the past decade?
4.
Right?
There's been 4 Hulks then. Yeah.
Considering, like, and then
2 a year.
You got to think about how many movies have DC put out in the past decade.
They put out, I'd say, at least 10.
I would argue that
I would say they say 50%.
I would argue that Marvel's probably put out 3 times the amount of movies.
I wouldn't say 3 times.
Live I think action, 100%.
I think you're adding.
What was the time frame?
TV series.
Let's say 10
years.
10 years. Yeah.
2012.
When did the first Iron Man come out? That was like
2018 or 2008. 2008.
I'm still I just kind of like blew my own mind. I'm still kind of caught up that there's been literally 4 different people to play the Hulk. I mean, I know he's a popular character, but it's interesting to think that that's been such a repeating character.
Yeah, I mean,
but I guess he's a very crucial.
I mean, he was super popular.
Yeah, I mean, he's the first, and then it was Eric Bana in like the 2003 movie, and then Edward Norton. And
DC films, technically, 10, but we're going to count as 11. Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, Shazam, Joker, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Suicide Squad, and Batman. The Batman.
Batman.
Did you say Man of Steel?
Movies.
You know, like the craziest part is like DC had the perfect opportunity to Days of Future Past this shit with Flashpoint, and then Ezra Miller had to go do whatever the fuck he's been doing.
I loved him.
Literally
as Flash.
tanked his own career,
and I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, for his Flash too. I don't know. I guess I didn't think he was a great Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's like the reverse. Like Ezra Miller was a great Flash, and
Man
then
of Steel,
the guy from the
2013.
TV series was a great Barry Allen.
Oh, he's a phenomenal Barry Allen.
Oh,
but I hated some of the shit they did with his character.
It's 13.
I mean, it's
Like as the Flash.
The first like 2 seasons I really enjoyed, and then after that show is fucking literally just I'm Barry Allen and I'm the fastest man in the world. Actually, I'm not. There's one other dude that's faster than me that's gonna outrun me for like 9 episodes.
Those first 3 seasons were pretty sick. I like those.
I enjoyed the whole series. I'm not gonna lie.
kinda fell
With the
off.
exception of like the last.
I've seen. I don't know. I've seen some of the TikToks of how it is now, and like, oh, that is rough. Like Jesus.
They're running that motherfucker into the ground.
Facts.
Hey, anything for a buck.
I did the same thing with Arrow, but
I was just gonna say there's 13. Man of Steel came out in 2013, and then it didn't list Batman v Superman.
I just want a Punisher movie, honestly. I love the Punisher so much.
I mean, they're gonna get Homeboy again if they don't cast him as Wolverine.
He killed it as the Punisher.
I don't think he would be. I think I'm not really stoked about it, but I do think the kid from Kingsman's going to end up being the new Wolverine. If they, I don't think they should do another Logan.
I like him.
No, I don't dislike him. I don't know.
My favorite thing
Wolverine
about
is one of my favorite characters, and I don't when I look at that dude, I don't see Logan. But granted, I probably wouldn't have seen Tony Stark when I looked at Robert Downey Jr.
But he is literally
just
Tony
kiss
Stark.
bang.
I mean, one of the good things about him is he's short, and Wolverine is supposed to be like 5'5", right?
Yeah, I get it, but I'm not hung up on how fucking tall Wolverine is.
Yeah.
I think it's so stupid.
I don't know. I said that,
people,
but then like if you watch Jack Reacher versus the Amazon Prime Reacher series, like it makes a big difference. I don't know if you've watched any of that, but like if you don't know what I'm talking about,
built like a goddamn lineman.
The only thing that I want my Wolverine to be,
and that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be
100%. I just want my Wolverine to be completely 100% unapproachable and unlikable, because that's who Wolverine is. He's unapproachable, unlikable, hates everybody, and nobody wants to fuck with Wolverine. He's not.
It's
supposed
just
to be
kind of.
friendly.
It's like the Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man situation. Like it's just he did it so well. It's so going to be so hard to replace him.
That's what I was going to say. Is I don't think that they should do. I don't think that they will, but I don't. No, I was going to say is I don't think that they should do another Logan. They should. There's other variations of Wolverine, like X-22.
What do you think about the young Professor X?
I think.
I'm talking about
what's his face?
I love him. I like both.
See,
I love both versions of Professor X and Magneto.
But both. I think I would have actively said that they should have never replaced Patrick Stewart before they gave him that role, right? I feel like you would have that same conversation that we're having about Wolverine, because Patrick Stewart was a perfect Professor X.
For sure, but...
Wait, who said that we shouldn't replace...
But you can only say that because you've already seen him do it.
Who said we should not replace Hugh Jackman? Did Nathan say
Nathan thinks we should.
No, I'm saying I don't think we should do another Logan. I think we should, like, if anything, you could... I mean, I don't know if she's in the MCU, but you could do his daughter. Bring her into the MCU and have that be this MCU's Wolverine.
I don't know about that.
Mostly because I do think... I don't know. It's going to be hard to do a new Logan.
I don't care who they get as long as they do it right. That's all it is.
The biggest thing is
at the same time we've seen
they're just not going to not do it. If they bring the X-Men in, Wolverine, I would say is top 3. He's a top 3
2.
X-Men.
Top 2.
100%.
It just depends on what version of the X-Men that they bring in.
It's Professor
There's
X.
plenty of versions of
Alien race, death laser pointed at the planet, 100% Iguodala.
Give me Iguodala.
I don't know. There's plenty. I mean, more than likely they probably will do another Logan. But there's plenty of other X-Men teams that don't.
But you
got to
think that
So
they have to sell it. They have to sell tickets, and people like if you try to sell the tickets to something that people don't know as not comic book people, they're not going to go, right? You know,
I don't know. At this point, Marvel, I think, could definitely do that. Like they made the Guardians of the Galaxy popular. No one gave a fuck about the Guardians.
I agree with you, Nathan, but you don't. I'm trying to think of an analogy, but I can't think of one really. You have a time machine, right? You can go back to 94. Do you? This is a bad example. You don't sell the X-Men without Wolverine.
No, I agree. X-Men is. I agree. X-Men is my favorite Marvel property by far. I would love to see them, but I would like to your point of just like there's. Of like new shit, man. Like we've seen so many different versions. We got to see 17 years of Logan.
Yeah.
Moving on to a different version of Wolverine would be refreshing. Like
I agree.
Agreed. A different version of Wolverine. But the point of this, the difference is that X-Men is the factor of Marvel you're talking about. When you talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, right? If there's a different Guardians of the Galaxy, if you tried to bring them in now as the Guardians of the Galaxy, it would be taken poorly because we've already developed that the Guardians of Galaxy are Drax, fucking
Rocket. Groot,
you get what I'm saying? The difference is that X-Men are already viewed as these characters. And so if you try to release, no, 100%, you're different because you know more of the X-Men. I'm telling you, as someone from the outside, if you say the X-Men, if you release an X-Men movie and you try to do it without the people that they reference as the X-Men, it's going to go down poorly. It's different when you release a completely different storyline and introduce brand new characters.
But
they did it with the Avengers.
Have you ever thought of why
they haven't done it yet? They haven't done it yet. We don't even know if
they did it with the Avengers. The Avengers were initially the Avengers was literally just Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor.
Okay, but they haven't released an Avengers movie without Iron Man yet. That's what I'm saying. Right? We don't know how that's gonna go.
Well, yeah. What I think what Kyle is saying is that there are X-Men movies with Wolverine. That's like you can almost guarantee Professor X is going to get casted, Wolverine's going to get casted, Cyclops is going to get casted, Jean Grey is going to get casted, the Beast probably. I think the only weird thing that we haven't seen yet is probably Jubilee will be in this new X-Men team because I think Jubilee has enough of a cult following where she'll get put in, and also Disney likes being inclusive.
I will say, if I don't get fucking tiger suit Wolverine, I don't want it.
Yeah, I agree. I think they could pull it off. I really would like them.
Like, it's not a stretch of it's a superhero movie. Thor is literally able to look like how he looks in all of his movies, and nobody bats an eye. Wolverine can look like Wolverine.
Yeah.
I would say Thor is a little bit different. Like, even his costume is updated a little bit. It's just like they kind of built it to not be the latex jumpsuit superheroes, right?
I don't know. Spider-Man literally is his OG costume.
I mean, but you can't fuck with Spider-Man. That's different.
Can't fuck with... All right, let's call it here because we're almost at an hour 10.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, it's episode 21, y'all.
Hey, we're old enough to drink as a podcast.
Podcast. Cheers. That's not alcohol.
What are you, responsible?
Yeah, Jesus. All right. Well, yeah, that's been episode 21. Thanks for listening.
In this inflation,
we love you guys. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on our respective social medias. Hit a follow, hit us 5 stars, whatever. All right, guys. Bye. See you next week.